This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
So here's my question. What did you do for you today? Just for you. Anything? And I'm not talking about just, the routine stuff, something special. I'm talking self-care. So important, makes such a difference in your life to move it forward. And many of us don't do it for many different reasons. We're going to explore some of those reasons and why self-care, self-love is so important. She's a transformational life coach and has a lot of insight on all of this stuff. I love her. And she's back with us. Donna Day's back on the program. How you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm so happy to be back.
Good to have you back. The whole self-care thing, it's funny, the weather's changing, right? So I ran down the street, had like a 15-minute break, got a cup of coffee, and I'm walking back in and I see the person in the office, the suite next door, has his pickup truck here today. And there's like two bikes on the back. And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't done that in forever. Like, it's like off my radar, but it should be because I have a bike rack. I've got, I used to go biking and everything. I was like, you know what? This weekend, I'm doing it. It's part of self-care. It's doing things for you. But okay, instead of why we don't do it, why should we be doing it?
Oh, there's so many reasons why you should do it. All right. I mean, one of the let's just start with it's the universal truth, us, ourselves are the instruments which transformation flows through. So if you want to create breakthroughs with or for yourself, with family, with community, first you have to nurture and honor yourself. Self-care and self-love aren't luxuries or afterthoughts, which a lot of people will kind of put on the back burner. They're the
Hmm.
foundation for your energy and your creativity and your magnetism and for everything that you do for yourself as well as for others. So like when you care for yourself and you treat yourself with love, you send a powerful message to the universe and to everyone else around you that you are worthy and that you are enough and that you're also ready to receive and give at the highest level. Self-care and
Hmm.
self-love is, the root of, blossoming and being successful in all areas and abundant in all areas of life.
You said this word, and it totally makes sense. It's treated as a luxury. Like when we consider going for a massage, going for, just something, a treatment, yeah, get your nails done, whatever it is. It's looked at as that's a luxury. No, it's actually important mentally for you. And I get this. I didn't realize it. And it was only 6 years ago. I would be at the gym, which is 800 feet away. Big, huge, beautiful. I was one of the first people to sign up for it 6 years ago. And I would walk in and I would get on the treadmill. And 12 minutes later, I'm like, okay, all right, I got to go to work. I got to go. Yeah, I can't spend more time here because I got stuff going on, blah, 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 blah. And then we leave. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And why did I leave? Let's open the door now to all the reasons we don't do self-care. Guilt. You feel you don't deserve it. You
Yep.
feel that others are more important than you. Back then, it was, well, I got to make sure that nothing changes here financially, because I got a family to support, blah, 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 blah. There was no impending issue. It was me worrying
Yeah.
and then leaving after 12 minutes, right?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to that, everyone usually will tend to put everything and everyone in front of them. So like that, like you always make sure your kids eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. They have clothes that they need. They, are in all the different activities or extracurriculars that, are important to them and like drive, that fuel and spark and passion. And, same at work, you want to make sure you always get every task you need done for, your coworkers, for your boss, for a thing. But everyone, a lot of people, they tend to just forget about what you need because you're just kind of in this fast-paced world and you're just doing one thing after the next. And at the end of the day, you might finally be like, oh, I'll have a cup of tea or something. And that's the self-care. But, it's so important to like, not just think about what things cost. And, if you have enough time, you got to make time. Everyone has the same amount of time every day. So you just have to figure out how you're going to use it, And I always say that just 15 minutes a day, if you can do 15 minutes a day, just to do something that is important to you or that makes you feel good or that you just enjoy, that kind of gives that little bit of a light, that makes all the difference. So, and I think almost everyone can spare 15 minutes at some point in the day to put into themselves.
Do you do this now that you've reframed everything? If you don't do some form of self-care, do you feel like guilty to yourself now and like you're gypping yourself out of something you should have gotten? Does it ever feel that way for you?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, for me, I was always before, the last like year or two, I always poured into everyone else. So then it felt weird at first to like start, making some more time for me. But now that I kind of take that 15-minute rule or kind of like add to it a little bit more, if it's not there, it does it that now that feels weird, just because everyone just needs that time to just breathe and like kind of like, reconnect with themselves. And it can be, taking a bath, it could be taking, a walk outside. It could be reading a book. It doesn't have to be anything, as we were talking about, luxurious or what people consider luxurious, by going to the spa or joining, an elite, sports club or something like that. Like those things are nice as well, but it doesn't have to be so crazy. Just tiny, or just kind of curl up on the couch with your favorite beverage and listen to some music, or dance a little.
It can be, like you said, the littlest thing, going for a walk, but being
Yeah.
intentional about it, not a habit
Yeah.
where, every day I walk the dog. All right, that's okay. You're walking the dog and love my dog, it's an extension of me, but at the same time, it's got to be with the intention of self-care. Not like, well, I'm walking the dog, so this counts. Well, it does in a way, I believe. You're taking some time, maybe some clarity. You're thinking, if you're on the phone talking and you're walking the dog, and it's like maybe not so much because now
Yeah.
you're giving you to somebody else in that phone call. It's now
Exactly.
it's 50% of you is actually more because you're walking the dog. So it's
Oh,
probably
yeah,
like,
exactly.
70% of you is being dispersed elsewhere where it should be focus on you. Even for 15 minutes, like you said.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that much, but just even like that 15-minute span, it really does make the difference because you matter just like everything else that matters to you. You know?
Yep. I believe, I'm going to be honest, I believe, I always am, but this is like just, there's a reason you're speaking today and I'm hearing you loud and clear. So back in June, I went away for a few days and by myself, and it was just a relax, retreat, read, reflect, do nothing, sleep all day if I want, whatever it was. And it was weird in the beginning. The first like 2 days, I'm like, after a while, I was like, this is great. All right, this is good. I booked another getaway, same place, Airbnb, super cheap. And part of me was like holding off on it. I'm like, wait till the last minute. I'll book it with, the $30 insurance in case I want to just cancel it. Airbnb, they're like, come whenever you want to come. It's all good. Um, I can't ignore it because it's so inexpensive, but I feel guilt in going and I don't know why. And you just released a lot of that right there.
Oh, good. But that's what comes with it for a lot of people. Some people are better at the self-care thing than others, but for a lot of people, you feel guilty, like, okay, I could be helping or doing this, so let me just put me on the back burner, keep putting me on the back burner. But then what ends up happening is you end up draining yourself of every energy, and then you can't show up for yourself and you can't show up for everyone around you. You gotta put into your cups. You gotta fill them up. You can't just let them, pour out on the ground.
Completely. And even those few days that I was away, I had so much clarity, realization. It was kind of, I want to say, like almost a little life changing in terms of never done it before, by myself, and going now again, part of, is should I take somebody else? Whatever. Others are going to get mad that I didn't ask them if they want to go. But then just like we said before, now I have to dedicate half of that to somebody else, which is fine, but it's like, too much work.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean, you're recharging your own battery is a way to
yes,
think of it. Like everyone's so dependent on cell phones these days, right? You make sure that you plug your cell phone in every night before so it's ready for the next day.
that's a really
And
good point.
you got to make sure you do the same for yourself because without you, that cell phone's not going to do much, even if it is charged.
And here's the crazy part. Even though I went away just to reflect, relax, and all that, I was still working. I was still doing some stuff,
Yeah.
but it was even more enjoyable because it was at my own pace and I was reading a little bit more and picking up on things. So
Yeah.
and yet we look at, the expensive things or whatever, look at the greater picture of that, and I know that the things can be tight and I get it. Trust me, it's $100 a night, okay? And it's like in a resort. It's beautiful. I can't not go. It's like,
Yeah.
but when we look at it, we don't realize how important it is. Where was your turning point? Where you had that realization? It was like, I'm not doing this and I need to do it.
So, I mean, that was pretty much when I got sick, when we've been talking about it. But most recently, because you still have those moments, even if you've had your big aha, you still get those ahas, on your journey. Was when I found out I have a really bad soy allergy. And just kind of like looked to the side and all that stuff, and didn't really think much of it. But I was getting sick again just from soy, and I also had a bad habit. I quit smoking cigarettes like 2 years ago, but I started vaping, and then I found out, oh, the key ingredient in most vapes is soy glycerin. So I literally every day without knowing it, I was making myself sick. And then same thing with like Advil, like the gel capsules and any medication, most of them are also soy based. So
Wow.
yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cold turkey it all. Like I gotta change everything. And yeah, it was hard. My moods were all over the place and everything like that. And but now after about a week of cold turkey, I feel great again. My energy is up and all of that. So, that was me putting me a little bit before, even though it wasn't the most ideal time to quit smoking and all that for
Wow,
the
I had no
family.
idea soy was in those products, and even that a little amount, like in a gel cap,
Yeah,
that's going to affect you.
yeah.
Whoa.
So
Wow. So you're quitting smoking, and that's part of your self-love, self-care.
Yep.
Part of.
Mhm. Part of, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different aspects. I wasn't a long-term smoker. I only smoked for like 3.5 years. It was, anxiety. Everyone has their own reason why they start and why they quit and all that. But I've been wanting to, but I just, I was like, oh, I'll just do it later. Like, oh, tomorrow will be a good day. But when I realized that I was making myself sick, besides just inhaling vaping smoke, the typical reasons, I was like, nope, this is it. It's the end. Like
Yeah.
today, no more, take them all. They're done.
So we talk about this thing called self-care. Let's talk about this thing called self-love. We should love ourselves. And you hear that all the time. It almost becomes a cliche. Um, Why is it so important? Is it for the same reasons you need to take care of you before you can take care of others?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's the same thing. The way I look at self-love, it's like an energetic frequency. So you can think about like a radio station. So you're like tuning into it. So when you're taking care of yourself, that's what you're broadcasting to the world. And when you're, giving self-love, you're broadcasting that to the world. So when you practice the self-care and the self-love, you naturally tune into your higher frequencies, of gratitude and joy and peace and abundance, and these are all the frequencies that, attract you the opportunities and, different miracles and your different like desires and wishes and dreams. And So by just putting that into yourself a little bit more, then you're giving that signal like, I'm ready, I'm ready for this. I can take it on because I'm not going to just let it kind of go to the side or, look over it. Like, I'm going to take it and I recognize what it is when it comes to me and I'm going to make the most of it and, continue to move forward in a
Wow.
positive direction.
And when you got to the point where I want to say you practice self-love, but really what it comes down to is you're finally saying to yourself, acknowledging that I love you. Like you're good. Like you look in the mirror and say, yeah, we're always going to find those little things, I'm going to sit here and got that, whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, you have this appreciation for yourself and love for yourself. It changes the way you look at everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. It opens up, like even like everyone you can consider them flaws. But to me, I just consider them people's unique characteristics. It's what makes everyone an individual and makes them stand out from the rest of the crowd. And those flaws can definitely be looked at as a negative, but in reality, if you embrace those flaws, you start realizing they're a positive because they are what set you out, set you apart from everyone else in the world. And and when you start doing that, the self-love gets easier because now you're not looking at like, like, oh, I'm too short or, I'm too heavy or I'm too skinny or, like, or I have this like weird double joint thing, like that makes me feel insecure. It could be anything, because they're part of who you are and it's part of you being that unicorn. Everyone says that like in the world, like there's more than one unicorn. It's just each unicorn's unique and different.
And doesn't it also change your relationships and change the things that you will accept when you have a new appreciation for yourself and nail the love part? Relationships are different. You look at them and say, well, I'm not putting up with that. That doesn't support. And
No.
other things that present to you, it's almost as if you have more confidence and stand up for yourself.
Yeah, because you're more comfortable in your own skin, and so you kind of like you feel like, oh, I don't deserve this, I'm worth more than this, So then, as you said, you get that confidence, and it slowly keeps building, and that's what gives you the power and the strength to, set those boundaries and let things go when it's the right time to let go and not hold on until things explode, you know.
How do you do it? How do you find love for yourself? Does it start with self-care?
Yeah, it definitely starts with self-care. That's probably the easiest way to start self-love is to start to just take care of yourself. So just by, setting a new morning routine, and giving a little extra time in the day or going to bed a little bit earlier at night. Like you just baby steps, just by getting a little extra sleep, you're showing yourself, self-love and care. It doesn't have to be anything that's crazy or too dramatic, just little baby steps and it gets the momentum going. And
Should
then you
you
just,
should you write commitments, like make commitments to yourself and write them down?
yeah, you could do this the same thing. I mean, you could use a jar, you could use a journal, you could have like to a cork board or some type of thing, or post-its. Those are great too. And you can, just write like during each day, like set a new commitment that you're going to add to your routine or do something for yourself. Like, today I'm going to I guess do like a face mask before I go to bed, or it just depends on what you're. Or today I'm going to actually clean out my closet. Even something like that can be considered self-love, just to clear your space to make room for new.
As crazy as that sounds, and it might sound like work. I got the day off. I'm going to clean my closet. You're doing something for you to make your life easier.
Yep.
So you have to go find something to wear. You have all this stuff in there you haven't worn in, 5 years
Yeah.
more. It's taking up space. You're doing eventually it all funnels back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. And now that I'm thinking about it, it started with self-care for me. And that's where I finally got to that point. Um, this is cheesy. I'm going to share it. In it, we're all on a journey, you know, life changes and all of that. Started doing the self-care. I'm at the gym. This is probably, I don't know, 3 years ago-ish. And I'm listening to songs. And just a random song came on. It was The Doors, Touch Me. And yeah, it's an okay song. It was not like, I love this song or whatever, but it's a good song. Good, whatever. And I always thought, what a great song for somebody else to sing to somebody else. And the lyrics, I can't sing, but it's like, well, I'm gonna love you till the stars fall from the sky. Well, I'm gonna love you for you and I. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, that's just a great song for somebody else. And I have a friend who's in a band. He would sing it occasionally. It's like, yeah, you want to sing that to somebody else. And all of a sudden, bam, it hit me. That song was for me, from me to me.
It makes complete sense,
And it was that moment. It was like, yeah, you're okay with yourself now after everything you've been through
Yeah.
and things that have been thrown at you and all of that. And it was like, huh, good. Wow. It was a weird moment. I
Yeah.
connected it to me with those lyrics. And I didn't, it just came up random song on a playlist. But then I got the clarity. And again, doesn't mean that, we don't look at those things, like you said, within ourselves, but you look at them in a different way. Like
Yeah.
that's you.
I mean, you just sparked like me with what you just said. Like for me, what I started realizing and knowing I needed like more self-love is that I always pushed out the love that I always wanted to receive, right? But I forgot about myself. I didn't give myself that love. So like I would always get drained, and it would come back a little bit here and there, but as soon as I put out the love that, I wanted to receive and gave myself that love, now it's totally different. Now it's a give and take and receive with everyone around, because without you, even if you pour it out, you're not going to fill your own cup.
Mhm. Yep.
So in order to attract it, you can't just you keep giving it and over giving. You also have to fill your cup with it, and then everything starts coming together. So that was the missing link for me, and I didn't realize that all for years.
Totally get it. People pleasing as well. Like
Yeah.
do things for other people because you want them to like you. You want them to value you and all of that. And I understand that, but
Yeah.
it starts with you. And I
Yeah.
think many of us don't do it because we feel guilty, number one. And also, number two, it's that growing up, you always heard, well, look at him, look at her, full of themselves. What an
Oh,
ego. They love themselves. Look at the way they walk, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to be that person.
yeah,
But
it's true.
it's not what that is.
Mm-mm.
It's caring for yourself. Like you're a good person
Yeah.
and,
And
and
also,
feeling that.
instead of always seeking validation from other people, validate yourself.
And we're gonna end on that point because that is the point.
Yeah.
That is the point. And so many of us look for that from others.
Hmm.
Even that old movie back in the day, Tom Cruise, when Harry Met Sally, I think it was whatever.
Yeah.
Um, you complete me. You complete me. No, no, nobody needs to complete you.
Complete you. No.
You compliment me.
At me.
I complete.
Exactly.
Good stuff today. How do we connect with you if we are on this journey trying to figure it all out?
You can check out my website at www.donnadaytlc.com. You can also email me at donnadaytlc@gmail.com or give me a call at 201-719-6991.
Thank you for all the insight today. This is so important.
Yeah, it really is. And
It
thank
really is.
you, Steve. You've opened my eyes to so much today as well.
You've released my getaway guilt.
Good. Go on that getaway. Get some clarity.
And I'll be working on me. All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right. We'll catch up soon. Okay.
All right. Have a
Thanks.
great day. Bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.